Hello, this is Base Jalaren once again with another video where I can't hold my goddamn camera still. And today I have another manga related video, and today I'm here to talk about my top 10 favorite manga that I have in my collection. Because when I was just going through my manga collection, I didn't really delve into what I liked and what I didn't like, what was my favorite. I just kind of said that everything was cute and I didn't really specify. So today I'm here to tell you what out of what I own are my favorites. My big old top 10. And first up we have Tokyo Mew Mew. This probably isn't a manga that makes it onto a lot of other people's top 10s because everybody puts all these really nice manga with really great artwork and excellent storytelling, and Tokyo Mew Mew is kind of like baby's first magical girl manga. It's about a girl named Ichigo, she's the one on the cover, and through a crazy random happenstance, her DNA gets fused with the DNA of a Iriomote cat. And this somehow gives her the ability to transform into a magical girl and fight against aliens that are attempting to pretty much destroy the planet. There's nothing really all that special about it. It's kind of your typical magical girl manga. There's nothing all that unique about Tokyo Mew Mew aside from, the whole magical girl premise. All the magical girls in here are based off of endangered species, and that's the one original thing going for this manga. Now, I haven't really said much of anything praising this manga, so you have to wonder how it managed to wander onto my top 10. And that's because Tokyo Mew Mew is the first manga I ever collected and completed. And it was pretty much the thing that got me into anime and manga collecting. Because it was so fun because me and my friends, we were all collecting it, and we all got hype whenever a new volume came out, and we were all talking about it, and we all speculated about what was going to happen next, and there was just a joy in that, and I think this is what really got me into just liking to buy and collect and talk about manga. So this manga has a really special place in my heart, despite it not being a real big favorite of anybody else's, so that's why it's here at number 10. Number 9, we have Strawberry Panic. Another one that you wouldn't really expect to see on anybody's top 10 list because it's kind of a generic Yuri story. It's about a girl named Nagisa who is transferred to an all-girls school, and she meets the most beautiful girl in school, and she immediately falls in love with her. It kind of plays out how you kind of expect any Yuri to play out, but the reason it's at number 9 on my list is again more of a sentimental reason. Sentimental, I realize I pronounce it sentimental. It's more of a sentimental reason than a reason having to do with the overall story, which you're gonna find near the bottom of my lists. And it's because this was the first Yuri I ever read, and it just so happened that I read it while I was just entering teenhood and starting to wonder about my sexuality. And after reading this, I thought maybe I do like girls. I don't know what's going on here, but I like what's going on here. And so not to burden Strawberry Panic with my whole realization that I liked girls, but Strawberry Panic certainly had a hand in it, and it was my first Yuri, and I love Yuri, and so of course it's very, very special to me. So that's why it's at number 9. At number 8 we have My Love Story. And I love this manga so very much. You look at it really quick, if you know nothing about the story, you wouldn't really know, but this guy is our main protagonist of this story, and his name is Takeo, and he is this big ol' huge gentle giant of a guy, and he's not that attractive, and his friend is like super hot, and all the girls that he's ever liked him. And then one day he meets this girl named Yamato, and she is the sweetest, cutest little angel you could ever possibly meet. And Takeo immediately falls in love with her. You'd expect it to be like how a shoujo manga played out, where there's a lot of unrequited feelings and a lot of drama, but immediately in the first volume, these two get together. And the entire story is just about how wonderful their relationship is and how cute they are and how they're shy about holding hands, and it's just so cute and so innocent, but also at the same time it's so hilarious because just the dynamic of this whole group is just fucking fantastic. And it's probably one of my favorite shoujo manga ever. So yeah, that's my number 8. Number 7 is Monster Hunter Flash Hunter, which it's one of those things that's on this list for more of a sentimental reason. And it's a story about this dude. His name is Raiga. And he's a great sword user, which I can greatly appreciate because fuck yeah, great swords. Great swords for fucking life. And it's pretty much just his adventures going around hunting monsters and wanting to live up to the man who pretty much mentored him as a kid and taught him about monster hunting. And I love it so much because I love this manga because I love Monster Hunter, and this manga is pretty much the embodiment of playing Monster Hunter and the things you experience when you play Monster Hunter. And it's just so great, and I love it so much because there are fights in here where I've experienced the same thing and I can relate to these characters, and the details are just so close to the game. Like, the armor is armor you can make in the game, the places they visit are places you can visit in the game, the weapons are weapons you can make in the game. It is the quintessential Monster Hunter manga, and I love it so much. And also because of my trash edgelord husbando, Bexel. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Break me up a piece of that Kit Kat. Or anyway, that was number 7 in my top 10. And now, moving on to number 6, we have Clover by Clamp. And this manga is so beautiful. Like, I got this when I graduated high school, and at the time I wasn't really into Clamp that much at all. I didn't have a lot of manga and none of it was by Clamp. But I saw this and I immediately wanted to buy it because the layout of the pages is really, really unique. It's very minimalistic. Not a lot going on, not a lot filling the page, but still, what you see and what you get in here is absolutely breathtaking. And every single page is like an individual work of art. There's just something about this manga that's just really alluring to me, and I can't get enough of it. Which is why that it's mangled and it's got creases, because I read it and I read it and I read it so much because it's so beautiful. And that is my number 6. Next up, we have Genshiken. And I'm counting Genshiken's second season because it's essentially the same story. It's just a continuation of the same story. And Genshiken is about this college club called the Society for the Study of Modern Visual Culture. But what it really is just a big old club full of otaku. And I just love how this manga holds nothing back and makes nothing pretty when it comes to the lives of people who like anime and manga a little too much. It gets a little softer in second season, but this no holds barred, holds nothing back. When things are gross, things are gross. When things are just taken wildly out of control, it's not romanticized. It's like, here are all these losers, and they love manga and anime so goddamn much. And I just like how it is gritty, and how it doesn't really paint much of a good picture when it comes to the otaku lifestyle. Things get a little, like I said, a little softer in second season. The cast becomes mostly girls and the art gets a little prettier, and it's more about an overarching, like, romance plot. But the characters are still really diverse, the cast is still really different, and I just love this manga so much. Because I am one of these gross, awful people with rooms full of gross otaku goods, and I live in filth, and I just love Genshiken so much, and that's why it's on my top 10. Next up on my list, we have Inu Boku Secret Service. And I could go on all goddamn day about how adorable and how cute and how beautiful this manga is. But obviously, it's on my top 10, so of course I love it. And how I got into it, it was before it got brought over to the States. And I knew nothing about it. But I was at Anime Expo one year, and I found Volume 0, which is basically character profiles and interviews with the manga artist and like behind the scenes stuff about the manga. And I saw this cover and I was all like, aw yeah, that is my shit, I love it, look at it, it's great. And then I found the anime, and I was like, oh yeah! And then I found out that it was being brought over to the States in the form of a manga, and I was so hype. Everyone in here is beautiful, and the character designs are just to die for. And it's everything that I like when it comes to girl character designs in manga is just in this manga. Everything about this, I like that. There's nothing in this manga that kind of makes me go, I don't really like how that looks. Everything in this manga is beautiful and gorgeous, and it's a sight to behold. At the number 3 spot, we have Girlfriends by Milk Morinaga. And you all know how I feel about Milk Morinaga, and this is the manga that made me fall in love with her and her stories. And they're obviously not perfect, but I loved this so much. It was the perfect slow burn. It wasn't just this girl gets transferred to an all-girls school and she immediately meets a girl and they immediately fall in love. The romance was believable and the characters were really human. And this was coming off of a Yuri dry spell because we got like Strawberry Panic and we got like The Last Uniform and Voiceful, and like a couple of other series that got kind of discontinued and we never saw anything from them. And then Seven Seas put this out, and I was like, holy shit, is that a Yuri? And maybe it was just because I hadn't read a good Yuri in so long that I fell in love with this, but I still like it, so it's so good. I love it so much. It holds a very special place in my heart, especially among all the Yuri that I own. At number 2 spot, we have Solanin by Inio Asano, one of my favorite manga authors of all time, and this is probably my most favorite story by him. And it just so happens that it was the first one that I ever got by this artist. And I remember so clearly the first time I ever saw it. One of my friends actually bought it before me, and she brought it into art class, and she showed it to me. And it was love at first sight. I borrowed it from her, and I nearly stole it from her. And the thing is that this manga came to me during a time where I didn't really know what I was going to do. Because I was in my senior year of high school, and my parents didn't really give a damn about what I was doing because they were in the middle of a divorce. And no one was really offering me any options. And I was kind of lost, and I didn't really know where I was going in life. And finding this story at that time in my life was just really important, because it's a story about finding out who you really are and where you belong in the world. It's just a perfect coming-of-age story, and I love it so much, and I'll probably hang on to this volume for a very, very long time. It's probably going to be a family heirloom or something. Now you have to wonder, if Inio Asano Solanin got number 2 spot, what could possibly be my number 1? And it's gonna surprise you, and it might not even be a manga you've ever heard of, because it's a manga that has not been translated into English, and I brought it up briefly in my manga collection video, so I can show you at least what this manga is. And at my number 1 spot, we have Majin Tante no Ogami Niro, my all-time favorite manga ever. And if you do not know, if you haven't seen my manga collection video, this is the manga that the author for Assassination Classroom wrote before he wrote Assassination Classroom. And it's probably my favorite manga ever. And it's about this girl, Yako, and in the very beginning, her father dies, and it's a closed room case, and everyone just kind of puts it off as a suicide. And then she meets this dude named Ogami Niro, the titular character, and he happens to be a demon from hell whose main food source is mysteries and solving them. And he offers to solve the case of her father's death. And after he does so, he locates Yako again, and it's not much of an offer, it's more like he forces her to help him solve mysteries, be like his cover. And like, to everyone else in the public eye, Yako is the one who's solving the mysteries, when really Nero's the one solving all the mysteries, and she's just there to point at the criminals. And everybody thinks that she's like this detective genius, when really all the while it's this demon who's like super, super sadistic, and he's always putting her through all these like tortures and trials. And there's just something about this manga that just makes me love it so much. It's the story, it's just how weird and how cool the art looks inside. And it's these two. I love these two so much. They are the main number 1 OTP forever. And it just makes me so upset that they toyed with bringing it over to the US. They kind of treaded the waters a little bit, and they streamed the anime on their website for a very, very short time. And I'm pretty sure that was like the litmus test to see if it was even worth their time. And the Majin Tante no Ogami Niro fandom is a very passionate fandom, and that's probably another reason why I like this manga, is that everyone who likes it fucking likes it. And we are very, very, very passionate about how much we like this manga. But at the same time, there's not a lot of us. And so even if we went, and I personally went and watched the series every day on Viz's website. But then they kind of took it down, and they stopped talking about it. And I guess it didn't really cause as much buzz as they had hoped. And they went ahead and just published Assassination Classroom. And the good end of this scenario is that Assassination Classroom finishes its run, and it proves that this author's work is acceptable and worth Viz's time, and they will actually bring Majin Tante no Ogami Niro over to the States, and I will be eternally happy, and I will buy multiple volumes of each volume in the series. God, I love this manga so much, so much. And that was my top 10. Thank you for sitting through this video and dealing with me and my shaky cam and my inability to properly critically review any manga ever. So yeah, I'm planning on making another video very soon, so look out for that. And in the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next video.